Makeup by Mario, let's do this. So this is a really, really exciting live for us. It's Mario. He is like, there he is. He's already here, punctual and on time. Mario blames Charlotte Tilbury. Right, hold on. Let's bring Mario in to the game. It's not a game, it's a live. Right, hold up. Where is Mario? There you go.
Hey,
There you are. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm at my parents' house right now. I'm just trying to find like a quiet area, but someone might walk through the room any second.
They are welcome to join us. They can come on, tell us a little bit they can come and tell us all about you.
You look glowing and beautiful.
What do you think? I mean, Charlotte's probably watching, so let's critique.
It's really good. I love it. I love all the tones. The skin looks flawless. Beautiful.
Have you tried her new bronzer?
I haven't yet. No.
Okay, we've got to get you one of these. They're massive,
Oh
and
my
they
God.
just, yeah, they say holiday, which
That
is
looks
what we're all desperate for, aren't we?
it looks like a great shade for you.
Thanks, Mario. So how are you doing? How is lockdown? How is everything?
Well, I'm over lockdown, but trying to stay positive. I think March and April were like a lot worse. It's getting like a little better here in New York. I could see like the restrictions are starting to lift just a little bit. Lots more people on the street. So yeah, it's getting better. I'm hopeful. I'm trying to stay positive, and I started going back to the office a little bit, which has helped a lot to have some sort of routine and structure. How's it going over there? Where you guys in the UK?
Yeah, I think exactly the same as you. It's really tough, and I think we're all trying to keep our spirits up, and that's actually why we did this beauty festival. We just thought everybody needs that interaction and to have a little bit of fun and a bit of a distraction. And can I just say, people are just doing love hearts to you, saying, "I love Mario. I love Mario." The love for you is out of control here.
I'm so happy to be back on. I haven't been on live. It feels like a long time, so I'm happy to be back.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. So, Mario, a couple of days ago, the Style Beauty team said, let's ask Mario some questions. What would you love to know from him? And we got so many questions.
Okay.
So, how about we do this? I'll ask them and we'll play a little game. We'll give you two passes. So, you've got to use them carefully.
Okay. I'm ready.
They're all really good questions and they're all makeup based, so we can just have some fun.
Okay. Cool.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so Mario, what was the first makeup item you bought or that you remember buying?
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's really
It had to be at Alcone in New York, which is like a makeup artist supply store. I want to say it was probably foundations, like a set of cream foundations in like 12 different colors that I bought. And I remember that was a huge like thing for me because at that time it was like $300 or more for like the whole thing. So it was such a big deal for me. And then, yeah, I started kind of building my kit after that. But yeah, it had to be from Alcone in New York. It wasn't like, it wasn't, I used to get makeup from Sephora when I worked at Sephora 20 years ago. So I sort of built my kit with that. And then I would buy the more industry products at Alcone.
I actually think, before I even go into this, you make such a good point. We've got lots of people from the UK watching. It might just be worth you telling people just your story a little bit, because it is so unique and it is so incredible. That will you just tell everyone a little bit about the Mario story?
Yeah, so 20 years ago in 2000, so actually my 20th anniversary is going to be this August, September.
Happy anniversary!
I know, I can't believe it's been 20 years, but I went to Sephora looking for a job. Well, actually, I went to the city looking for a job, and I stumbled upon Sephora, and I was with my mom, and my mom was like, no, let's get out of here. She's like, you're not working here. But I was like really persistent, and I wound up getting a job there. And from the first day that I started working at Sephora is where I actually discovered makeup and made the decision that that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And so here we are 20 years later.
Oh, I mean, you skipped a lot of years there. We just went
Yeah.
from that
Oh, you
first day.
know, like more? Oh, I mean, so basically I started in retail, and then from there I started building my portfolio. Back then in New York, there was no social media and stuff. So it was really hard to kind of get in. And so I was building my portfolio. I was working for different makeup brands. And after I left, I was assisting big makeup artists in the fashion industry. And just little by little over the years, then I started doing celebrities. And yeah, that's pretty much the short version of it.
Who was your first celebrity that you did?
I think my first, I always, I get confused. It was either Natasha Bedingfield or it was
Ah.
Gina Gershon. This was like in 2006 or seven. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay, well
And,
that's a good
yeah.
inning. So you've actually done my makeup before. We did it with Laura
Yeah.
Mercier, and I remember you really taught me the importance of dabbing that sponge. Whenever I dab my sponge, I think I should do about 100 more dabs. But I'm going to just ask you for foundation, brushes, sponges, or fingers for you.
I have to say all three.
Mario.
It's true though. Like, listen, I think when you're doing makeup on yourself, I think sometimes it's just easier to use fingers.
Yeah.
When I'm doing it on clients, I use a combination of brushes and then wet beauty blenders. I also use the little white triangle sponges for certain areas, and then sometimes fingers as well. But so it's hard. It's not just one thing. It's like a combination of all.
Does it depend on the finish you want as well, or?
Yeah, I think it depends on the type of foundation as well. So for cream, like dense cream foundations, I tend to use I apply more with a brush, and then I sort of thin it out a lot with a sponge, because a wet beauty blender, when you start patting on the skin, it starts to sort of remove the layers and like make it look a little bit more natural. I think liquid foundations work really well with fingers and with brush, the combination of fingers and brush, especially if you're doing it on yourself. It just tends to appear more natural when you're doing it like that.
Got it. So do you have any all-time favorite foundations that are just like your go-tos that you always go back to?
Yeah, well, for 20 years, I've used RCMA in my kit. It's been a staple. And I think for more natural foundations, I'm loving the Kojendo foundation, the Aqua.
So good.
Yeah,
Yes.
really good. And it builds up really beautifully. So you can actually go, you know, if someone likes more coverage, you can sort of just build up little by little. And it gives this the most stunning look of like real skin coming through it, but still giving that really like flawless, polished look. That's definitely one of my favorites. It's been for a while now.
Yeah. So what's Mario's all-time favorite mascara?
It's always been the L'Oreal Voluminous in Carbon Black. I've tried over the years, I've used that for 20 years. I've tried over the years, I've tried to introduce other ones, and I use them for like a couple of days, but then I just kind of go back to my L'Oreal Voluminous.
I love that though, because there's so many expensive ones that you could have just said there.
Yeah,
And that's the one you always go back to.
But I always go back. Which one are you using right now?
So have you tried the new Gucci mascara? Got from,
No.
it sounds really bougie, but the new Gucci mascara, I love it because it just separates and lengthens, but it's not clumpy. And I really struggle with clumpy mascaras.
That's the thing with me, with mascara. I like a mascara that you could sort of keep building onto it, where it doesn't get, so it's like you're applying, but you're also separating at the same time.
Yes.
And yeah, so I got to try the Gucci one, I guess.
Yes. Everybody in the comments, because there's so many questions coming in for you. If you can ask it as a question, then I can come to it, because I can't, there's too many things coming up because Mario is loved way too much. Right. Let's talk about makeup brushes.
Yeah.
What can you just tell me maybe like the two makeup brushes you use the most? What are the things that you find that like you always use in your kit, the brushes that you cannot go to a client without?
Yeah, I mean, I'm known like to have over like 100 brushes in my kit.
So this is going to be easy too.
One of my all-time favorites for like many years has been the It Cosmetics, the double-sided foundation brush, because I like the other side. It gets into like little areas. And then my Makeup by Merit X Sephora brush collab that we did last year, the contour brush from that, I really loved. I worked really hard on that one because I love the way it sort of tapers and to get into the little areas onto the forehead and around here. It's not your typical contour shape that most people use.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as dense as most brushes.
Can we talk about the fact that us in the UK, are we ever going to get the Mario products?
Oh my God, you guys don't have it there.
Really upsetting.
It's sold out, Sarah. I don't know. Don't put
Come
me
on,
the spot.
Mario.
Don't. Well, eventually you guys will.
One day. Okay. Primer, do or don't?
I don't use. I typically don't use facial primers. No, I'm
Even
kind of
me.
Yeah, you don't either.
Nope.
Yeah, no. I just like an emollient moisturizer. I like a good old-fashioned emollient moisturizer before I do makeup. I do use like eye primer sometimes, or I use concealer or foundation as an eye primer. The only primer I have to say that I have used in recent times is the Tatcha primer. God, I just went blank. In the little I forget the name of it. Silk Canvas. I've used the Silk Canvas.
Oh yes.
That one I do like a lot. That's the only one I've used in recent times.
Okay, I've got to try that one then. And now this is very bittersweet because obviously we've not tried all your products, but the product you're most proud to have created.
Well, that's coming later in 2020. So you got to stay tuned for that.
Give us is it eyes, lips, cheeks, skin?
I'm not telling you.
Mario, come on. This is, I'm trying to get that little sneak preview out of you here.
I'm not going to say. I don't want to spoil it.
No, okay, fine. We are all watching. We're watching closely. What other Mario rules for brows?
Okay, so brows. Brows are so important to me, and also for myself. Brows is one of the products that I use on myself personally. As you start to get a little bit older, and later 30s, your hair start to kind of disappear and get a lot more thin. So I do use I use a few things, right? The thing I use the most, I would say, is the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I do that in a shade that's like lighter than the brow over here. I like to do little lines over here as well and sort of like brush them upwards. And then on the outer corner, I go a little deeper with it. And then I take a powder shadow, just like a sort of cool tone brown, and I just go over it here on the outer corner. And then I use, to keep the hairs up in place, I use something that's probably not very user-friendly. It's more of an industry thing, but I use something called Pros-Aide Glue. Basically, I use a very little of that. They use that in the industry for prosthetics and stuff like that. And I use that so that I can really sort of get the hairs nice and feathered and in place.
But probably, maybe, should I just use like hairspray or?
Yeah, hairspray or actually like gel. You know, the Got to Be Glued. I don't know if you guys have that in the UK. It's the yellow Got to Be Glued. It's a little bit of a strong.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Yeah, you can
Something
use a little bit of that. I find that it depends on the hairspray, but I find that like regular hairsprays don't really hold them up as much. I think brow hair is really stubborn,
Got it. So lots of people are asking us about cream blush. How do we get cream blush to last longer?
A couple of different ways. So I know it sounds weird and it's like not traditionally what people are taught, but if you powder your skin lightly, right, with a translucent powder, and then you use the cream blush, you could do the finger, or I like to do actually cream brush with a combination of finger and a brush, but put it over the powder that you sort of powdered lightly, and then it grabs on and it grips onto that translucent powder, and so it stays much longer. And then of course, if you want to really stay a lot longer, if it's evening time, you can go over with a little bit of a powder blush to sort of set it and make it more pigmented. But yeah, I find that if you don't put a little bit of a light translucent powder underneath it, it doesn't grip on, it doesn't have anything to grip on, and so it will slide off throughout the day.
Got it. But one of the things that you said, and I always think, is it bad that I do that? Whenever I do cream blush, I always just go over a little bit with my powder blush, and I feel that's how I get it to last. Is that bad or is that fine?
No, that's how I as well with the powder brush, and I dip it in and I just kind of hit lightly, and then the translucent powder underneath like really grips onto it. But the powder has to be really light. You can't put heavy powder underneath it.
Got it. Okay, right. Concealer. Now, I feel there are so many concealers out there to try. Lots of people, I think they say concealers tend to sink into their fine lines. What is your favorite concealer, and any concealer technique tips for under the eyes?
So it depends on what you're doing and sort of the type of look you're going or how old you are, I guess you could say. I have lots of concealers in my kit. I think a classic, like old school one that I have when I'm doing my very glam girl clients is the Kryolan Concealer. Or is it, wait, is it, no. I'm going blank. Oh my God, I'm going blank. It's the one with the 16 little circles.
16 circles. I bet people will start to write what they think it is.
It's a makeup artist brand. Yeah, I think it's Kryolan.
Waiting, it's connecting. Mario.
What is going on? I'm so sorry. I don't know if this is my fault or your. I don't know. I'm sorry about it.
Don't worry either way. Look, it could just be Instagram's fault. Christy Dash, if you're watching this.
Oh my God.
We're okay. We're going to just keep going.
Okay, cool.
We're fine. Okay. So your favorite I'd say under £10, under $10, your favorite beauty buys that are under $10.
Well, the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. Well, I don't know. Is that, I think that might be. Let's see. Also strip lashes like the Wispies from Ardell. So I definitely have a preference of drugstore lashes over more of the look. Uh-oh. Can you hear me or no?
I can hear you, but it's frozen. Everyone's saying it's not your fault, reschedule. I don't want to let you go. You may never come back.
All right, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the hell is going on. My phone is really hot right now.
I'm worried about your phone. I don't want it to just combust. But everyone is saying, do you want to reschedule? What do you think? Should we just try and just, I don't even know. We can come back later, or we can try another day, or what do you think? We can't hear you.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
message
Well, I think
us.
yeah, we could do it in, I guess.
Us. Me. Okay. Well, everybody, thank you so much for trying to stick with us. We did our best. That is the joy of a live and Instagram and real life. What can we do? That's what happens in real life. But I will speak to Mario and I will see if we can make this happen either later or another time. And I'm really sorry if we disappointed you. But what we will do is put everything together that we went through, and then we will put that together and make that an IGTV in the meantime. So yes, I'm just seeing if he wants to try one more time, but I feel we've given it our all. Okay, goodbye everyone.